Everyone, please turn off or mute your microphones. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Blackletter Brunch. Our guest today is Cheryl Jacobsen. Cheryl is a calligrapher and assemblage artist in Iowa City, Iowa. An adjunct assistant professor at the University of Iowa's Center for the Book, she teaches a variety of classes, including a history of Western letter forms and several in modern calligraphic hands. Her work has been seen internationally in many shows and publications, including Letter Arts Review. She recently taught Gothic cursive and vellum preparation for Friends of Calligraphy. Today, Cheryl is going to talk about the found, recovered book and other fun Blackletter projects. Thank you for joining us today, Cheryl.
Thank you for having me. Am I good?
Yes, good. I can see your presentation.
Okay, good. All right. So as I start this, the first thing I want to talk about is, there we go. So like Raoul said, I work for the University of Iowa Center for the Book, and we have paper making, printing, binding, history of the book, past of the book, future of the book. And man, we have small groups of really talented students join us. You do have to apply to get in, and our students are just getting more and more amazing. They come in with skills, they spend 2 years with us, and then they leave and do amazing things. And I bring this up because, at Roman Holiday, Madison and I taught the class that I just taught in San Francisco, but we didn't actually do the messy, gross parts like we did at Roman Holiday, which was a blast. So Madison's amazing. They came in after being a business student and ended up getting their PhD in Cambridge, which is what she's working on now. And she just got this chance to go to Croatia. Somebody said, okay, we're going to give you money to go to Croatia, and you can do anything you want, and it's gorgeous. And she ended up going and doing calligraphy on rocks and then arranging them in an old chapel with candles. And there was no strings attached. I don't know how she gets all these crazy things, but she does. But awesome. Jessica White is a paper maker and a letterpress printer in North Carolina now. And I worked with her with several things. Our first project was not Blackletter here, but she made the paper because this thing was going to be sent into space. So we went to the engineering department and had all the women in the engineering department pick out quotes, and we rolled this up and put it in a tube, and Peggy Whiston took it up into space and brought it back down. So now this is at the engineering department here at the U. And then we did a piece for calligraphy and handmade paper for a hand paper making magazine, where we were working with images and watermark, image, and writing. So my writing was actually white, and if you held it up to the light, it went black, whereas her watermark came out as white. So we wanted to sort of balance the two images. And if anybody has any questions, just ask me. This particular woman, Radha, is from India. She came to us. Now she's living in Norway. She's got a paper making studio, bookbinding. She also works in India. And she married another Center for the Book guy. Anyway, she said, oh, there's this book show. And if I send you some paper, let's do a book together and put it in this show at the Morgan Art of Papermaking. So she sent me about 20 sheets of paper. And it was a really quick turnaround. I had to take this project with me to the beach when my family went to the beach at Topsail Island. And I had no idea what we were going to do. But right before I left, I was reading the paper and I saw this really, really, really long list of things. And I thought, oh my God, this is perfect because it's so weird. And it was all the stuff that was in the Iowa City Police Department's closet full of stuff that they got over the years. And I thought, this is good. It's almost, a list can almost be like a poem, although a very weird, abstract poem. So that's what I'm going to put in this book. So I took the paper with me to the beach and some gouache, and I had no real plans. Um, I thought I'm going to do this. I only had 20 sheets of paper, so I had 2 pieces of paper left over after this. So didn't want to mess up either. So it's a little bit close. I mean, the list of things is so weird. Um, Knives, games, uh, horseback riding trophies, all sorts of weird things. So put them into the book. I've always been fascinating with black, white, and red, very Asian sort of looking. And this red mark ended up traveling through the book. Now, this book should be read the other way, but to be on the screen here, it makes more sense to have it sideways, and you'll see what I mean. So the paper was fairly thin. You can see show through a little bit. So wherever there was a red dot on the recto side, on the other side, there was the recto as well. I mean, red dot. So you can see this should be read the other way, but it's better in close up this way. So this paper's a little funky. So writing small was really frustrating. So this lowercase Roman here, I was really unsatisfied. But like I said, I couldn't screw up, and I kind of did. I feel like that writing wasn't very good. The rest of it was fine. The black letter was crisp enough, but writing small was really frustrating. And so I just started writing, and I wanted to really just I wanted to create images using these words, and I wasn't too worried about legibility. And so things just tumble all the way through. Passport. Rada bound the book. I sent it to her.
I love your black letter.
Thank you. So you can really see the show through here on this page. It got kind of thin.
So you must have been rotating the direction continuously when you were doing this?
Oh yeah, especially when I was doing those curly things. Yeah.
Did you plot it out or did you just start writing and design it as you went?
I just designed it as I went. I mean, I only had 20 sheets of this paper. So it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like our class, Meredith. It's just like, we'll see if this works, and it better work. I hope so. But it was actually hard. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't really rip anything up. I just folded them.
So this is
In
kind of
last
like
case,
an
well, go ahead.
inventory or list. Is that
Yes.
right?
Oh, it's totally a list. Yeah. This is everything that is in the Iowa City Police Department's collection of stuff they found over the years. If people have ripped off, like 2 glass vases, a crowbar, a US mail bag. So weird.
Did you put the red dots in first before you started writing?
No, and you can really see that. It would have been hard to do. You can see how I had to go
Oh,
in
yeah.
and put the red dots in back of the writing and leave that little white highlight around it.
Remarkable. It's
Thank you.
beautiful the way you created that white sort of framing of the letters.
That was exciting once I started to, it was exciting once I thought, oh, this is going to look really cool.
What
And
determined? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, it was really necessary. Once I started doing those red dots, at first I thought, oh, look, you can see it on the other side. But it worked, and it kind of makes a continuity through it.
What determined where you would place the red dots?
I think my eye. I just was designing as I went. It's like, I'll put one here and I'll put one here. Although I do notice, oh, I guess not. There's a lot of knives. And so lots of times the knives got highlighted.
Huh.
So interesting, knives were one of the most frequently stolen items because this is a list of stolen items, presumably.
Yes, yes, yes. A lot of video games, guns, and knives.
You
But
said
then,
it,
a saddle club trophy. Go figure.
you said it was bound afterwards, but you have words going over the pages.
Yes. I folded them so I could put them together to figure out what was happening.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Where does the book live now?
At the University of Iowa Special Collections, which is nice. And funny story, you know how I was saying at the beginning how this paper wasn't the greatest to write small on. And I did submit this to Letter Arts Review and it didn't get in. And I think it was because that really bad writing at the beginning, they probably went, ew, she can't do anything. But it was so cool because then Christopher called me and he said, well, do you mind if we put it on the cover and do a 3-page spread? It's like, do I mind? That would be great. So that's colophon. And then the dots slowly go away and get small. So this is kind of a sidetrack, but a long time ago, I used to bring a lot of people into Iowa City. And this small man here is Tim Barrett, who was the paper maker and one of the founding people of the Center for the Book. And he came, this is him giving Ward a tour of the paper making studio. But I just thought you guys would appreciate this picture. But Tim, at that point, a long time ago, was making these huge sheets of handmade paper. And, he'd have 8 students holding the paper mold and creating these amazing 4x6 sheets of paper. And I was lucky enough to get 2 of them. And one of them I did right away. I did this in 1991. And I really liked it now. This paper was really crappy to write on. So what I had to do is I wrote it all out on size paper first, and then went in with paint and just sort of drew them on. I could put the letters in back of the handmade paper and actually paint it on because the pen didn't like it at all. And this is one of those things where I got to the end, and this is supposed to say, Charles, you said. And I just left it because there was nothing to do, and it was the very bottom, and hopefully nobody notices that it's supposed to be you and not your. But this is a diversion because this was the other piece of paper, and I thought, oh, I have one more piece of paper, and this was years later. And so what I wanted to do is take some of the Found Recovered book and make another big piece out of it. And I did it, it came out great, and I put it in a show downtown. I don't know where it is now, which is weird. So it's another one of those sad stories. Kind of like I told everybody in the workshop, there was another piece that Thomas bought from a show in Italy that I had. I had done a sandwich book with a friend of mine who's a binder here, and Thomas bought it. And a few years ago, I was going to use it as a piece in a talk I was giving at Stanford, and I didn't have any good photos of it. So I contacted Thomas and I said, could you take a picture of that book? Because it's that time when you didn't really have a camera and you didn't have a phone to take pictures of, and kind of stopped taking pictures for a while. And so Thomas wrote back and he said, oh, Cheryl, I was hoping I'd never see you again because I sent that book to a show and it never came back. The problem was, I think, is this was a book that looked like a sandwich, and we wrapped it in deli paper and we kept it in a deli box. And I have a feeling somebody just threw it out. I hope somebody stole it and appreciated it, but I have a feeling somebody just. So
The
I'm sort of
last,
sticking with this theme of big calligraphy pieces. I found this very funny quote online. The popular belief that a celestial Jewish baby who is also his own father, born from a virgin mother, died for 3 days so that he could send to heaven on a cloud and then make you live forever only if you symbolically eat his flesh, drink his blood, and telepathically tell him you accept him as your Lord and Master so he can remove an evil force from your spiritual being that is present in all humanity because an immoral woman made from a man's rib was hoodwinked by a talking reptile possessed by a malicious angel to secretly eat forbidden fruit from a magical tree. I just thought that was kind of funny. So I thought to make a big banner out of this and have the black letter go from being very proper and medieval to kind of strange and green and stretched out. Then I've been saving this lacquer thinner warning just because it is hilarious in its own way because it's so dangerous. If you ever really read this, if you're using your lacquer thinner and you really read it, you would never even touch it because it's crazy dangerous. And I thought really somebody should write this out so you can really, it should be given the weight that it seems to be warning you about. So I wrote it out really big in some Bastard. And I also just think that's really funny. Another big piece of calligraphy. Iowa City at one point had, how different cities have these big fiberglass things that they ask artists to decorate? We had big books because we're one of the cities of the book. We have the Writers Workshop here and the International Writing Program and the Center for the Book. So there were all these big fiberglass books that various people hired artists to decorate. And the public library had asked me to do this book. This is a Marvin Bell poem. Marvin Bell was poet laureate of Iowa for a while. And he had written this poem for the public library here because he lives here, or he did live here, not anymore. And we thought, okay, this would be cool if we turn this poem into a manuscript piece. But the weird thing is, I had written it out before. The lines were incredibly long and the line breaks were weird, and it wasn't going to work in a manuscript way. So I went over to Marvin's house because he didn't live far from me. And I said, could I make different line breaks on your poem? And I know that's really not cool, especially if you don't ask the poet. But he said, okay, but you have to tell people you did that. So at the end here, I had to write, this is a calligraphically corrupted version of the poem Our Library. So I did that. So I actually did this small on a piece of vellum. And I was working with this amazing graphic designer who was also really creative and doing all sorts of stuff. And he was really good with the computer. So we took a photo of it. Then we went to special collections and we shot a photo of the foredge of one of our big missiles and actually put that on the edge. So this really looked like a big book, but we wanted the old book to be contained within a new book. So we hired a woodworker to make the outside of the book look like an iPad, and you can plug it in. I mean, these people were amazing. And so you plug it in and the back of this book lights up with this little picture of us, all the people that worked on it. So that was really cool. This is at the public library now upstairs. This, I think last year or 2 years ago, there was a group of, I think it was the College Book Arts Association was having a conference here at University of Iowa. And I was doing some calligraphy demos. And the guy who was heading up the whole conference said, oh, could you submit something for our raffle, our fundraising raffle? So I went home and one of the things that had been given out at this conference was a poem that was written by a poet who had taken, I don't know if anybody's heard of a guy named Jim Croft. He was a tool maker and a book maker, and he'd have these long classes where you'd go out into the middle of nowhere and you'd spend 2 days making tools out of stuff that you found in the wilderness. You'd spend 2 days making fiber from what you find in the wilderness. You'd spend 3 days making paper, and then you'd spend 5 days making a book with the paper and the thread and the tools you made with wooden boards and clasps. And it sounds like an incredible opportunity. I never met the guy, but I know that everybody loved his tools and he was a real character. And if you go online and just type in Jim Croft, you can see the books he makes are amazing and explains this whole thing. So they gave me a little bit of a poem that this guy had written while he was at this amazing thing. And so this is really quickly done. I actually think it was a brown book, and I just had weird lighting when I did this, so I don't think the book was blue. And then I actually did, I used more of that same poem for the book that actually went into the fundraising auction at California Letters that Elena got. But this has my black Gothic cursive in it. And this was one of those books where you take a piece of paper, make marks on one side, make marks on the other side, fold it, rip it, fold it until you have all sorts of bifolios, fit them together, finish lines like you can say, oh no, this is the centerfold of it, so I didn't have to do anything. But then you add a text to it. And I only have 1 page of this. Oh, no, I have 2 pages. So you can see here, I did have to go back and finish this line here in the middle. This is a piece, I once had a commission by this guy who had attended the writer's workshop. And he's an MD, but he's also a writer. And he had all these friends like Joy Graham and Marilyn Robinson, and he would take their photo and he'd had me do an excerpt of one of their books or their poems. And this is from Housekeeping by Marilyn Robinson. And I did this, I really wanted to get a nice S. So I had a whole bunch of pieces of Arches hot press and I did like 15 S's. And I finally got one I really liked. And so I wrote the S and then I wrote Alvation. And then I went back and did the rest of it with this gray to black work. This was a piece I did at the local art supply, Blick art store. They just gave me some big markers and said, here, make something, and we're going to put it up on the wall. So I did bring a quote and just winged this. This is my brother and his wife. And these are some Gothic cursives. This is what I've been teaching a lot lately. It kind of freaks people out because it's so backwards leaning. Right, Meredith?
Mute myself. It's beautiful. Oh.
Oh, and I've always sent envelopes to Meredith, and I didn't want to do it online, so I just sent Freddie this a couple weeks ago.
Oh, she hasn't seen it yet. She's been out of town. I picked it up at the PO box, but it's waiting for her to come back, I think, tomorrow or the next day.
Okay, that's good. I guess that's it. It's pretty short. I'm sorry, guys. It's only half an hour.
Oh.
That's great. I love
Wonderful.
the first piece you showed reminded me a lot of that print by Arnie Wolf that's at the San Francisco Public Library's Book Arts and Special Collections Center. Of course, yours is an original manuscript. The black and white and red black letter calligraphy is kind of weaves in and out of the pages, very similar to Arnie's print. So if you haven't seen it, you should check
look
it
it
out
up.
one day. I'll try to remember to send you a photo of that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Next trip. It's really cool too because he uses different black letter for the Philistines and for David. And so it's like this very black letter type for David, and then the Philistines is like way more edgy.
Oh, that's cool. I sort of did a similar thing because one of the doctor pieces where he was giving me quotes, there was one from a prayer from Owen Meany, and I think Owen thought he was Jesus. So I would write what he wrote in sort of goofy black letter. No, no, no. I wrote what his father was saying in very somber black letter, and then anytime Owen Meany spoke, I wrote it in really goofy Romans, sort of because he was kind of crazy, I think. But yeah. Barry, you're muted.
Love to look at your that Gothic cursive one again.
Oh.
If you could show that back up.
Okay, I will. Just a second.
I've got a few.
Yeah, I did this one. Let's make it big. There we go. That one?
Well, yeah, there was several of them. That's one of them. That's is that white ink on
It's white gouache. I use gouache most of the time.
wow, really beautiful and highly legible, I would say.
It's surprisingly legible. Although this one, lots of times when I'm teaching this now, people ask, well, how far apart are the lines supposed to be? And I wanted to do this one purposefully pretty close, but also letting the ascenders and descenders disappear with the other lines too, just to show that you can do that. Lots of times I spread it out so they have a lot of room to move around. But this one I wanted to do really tight.
Beautiful. And I love the way you've interlaced the gyre, the letter G and Y there.
Yeah, they look like they're kind of holding hands.
Right, it's like interlaced.
Did you wait to do the descenders before doing the line below?
Sometimes, yes. Actually, most of the time. Yeah, because I really am not sure what's going to happen to it. Yes, so I do wait.
Cheryl, can you go back a few? I missed this beautiful piece of secretary hand juxtaposed with a more traditional black letter. Go back a few more. That's it. Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I should show you. Raoul mentioned the piece that FOC bought to give to the Harrison. Let me pull up that one so you guys can see that. Okay.
We'd love to see that. Yeah.
Let me go get my other. Get out of this first. Okay. Am I sharing this or I have not shared this yet?
Your screen is not being shared.
Okay. Okay. Go.
Okay, now I see your piece. Have a talk with God. Okay.
Yeah. So this is what I did this piece for the class I just taught in San Francisco when I was in Texas. And this took place at Catholic retreat center. And there was iconography all over the place, and the nuns cooked for us. And it was really beautiful. And you could walk through the grounds, and there were statues, and there was this one little table and chair where somebody had some tea, and there was this statue of Jesus that you'd sit right in front of and have a little talk with him. So I had been working on this book while the students had been working. And you never know what's going to happen with these. And at one point I thought, oh, this is just not working. This is going to be the one that doesn't work out. But I had gotten most of this together, and I wanted to find a text because I didn't have a text to put in it. And so I thought, oh, Stevie Wonder has this song called Have a Talk with God. So when I got all this done, then I started to put the starred hand in this book.
Wow, that turned out amazing.
That's pretty.
I was very happy. And, sometimes vellum writes really great and sometimes it doesn't. This particular sheet was so good. I was using a 0.5 millimeter Browser, and everything came out great. It was like, the exact opposite of the small writing in the Found Recovered book. This small writing was just like, it's heaven.
Wow. And what are the dimensions of this book?
It's about 9 inches tall. Yeah, it's about 10 inches tall.
Okay, I see.
And maybe 7 inches, 14 inches wide when it's open.
I see.
And you used what kind of a brush to make the beautiful designs?
One of the students in the class had this big ass flat brush. And then I was stealing somebody's ink too. And it was some of that really pretty, I don't even know whose ink it is. I don't use ink very much. So I just sort of stuck it into a whole bunch of different colors and just made marks. Again, one side of the sheet of vellum, you make marks, and you try not to do a wallpaper sort of thing. So you want really different images all around. Now, of course, I did trim the pages. Sometimes, you can either do this so everything's really square, or you can go natural, or with this, I did cut the pages so that they flowed together a little bit more.
Just stunning. And you combined secretary hand there with the Gothic cursive.
Yep.
And this, are there, I thought I saw spots of gold leaf too. Is that gold leaf that I saw?
Yep.
Pretty.
I thought it'd be nice to have a little gold in there.
Yeah.
How did you conceive of this design? It's fascinating.
This was another, I don't think I was describing to Raul, but this whole process of you take either a sheet of paper or you take a piece of vellum and you just make marks. You don't plan anything. And it's very scary. Right, Meredith? Right, Sarah?
It's wonderful, though.
Yeah.
It is. It's amazing. I just keep looking back at the things I did when I was in the workshop, and it's amazing how it works out. But it is very, very scary.
Yeah.
Cheryl, do you have photos of the book that you did while you were in the class in San Francisco? So that shows the whole skin also?
Do I have, I think I just have, I'm not sure if I have that together, but let me see. I'm just going to share. You can see my messy desktop. I'm just going to do the desktop and see. Okay. Well, it might take me a while to find that. Yep. Oh yeah, so this was the end. That's the back of the book. Okay, hopefully, I don't think I have the whole skin here. I'd have to sort of put stuff together for that, but this is that book.
Oh, that's how it turned out.
And this is the book that you did with Friends
Left.
of Calligraphy. Just
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
Just lost it again.
It's
pretty.
amazing the effect because you're you're writing on a huge piece of uncut vellum. I only know this because I was in your workshop, Cheryl, with Meredith. And so, but it's amazing how when you work at that scale and then you cut it down, the beauty of the lines and the curves that reflect the much huger scale.
Yeah.
It really is magic.
Oh,
Um, and so here, like you can see on this page, I had to connect. I had to make a new other half of this blotch and continue these guys over here. But it truly, I should say, this particular exercise I learned when I was teaching at Wells Book Arts Summer Institute. And Robin Price was doing a chance printing class. And she had her class take a sheet of paper and do this exercise, but they didn't put a text in it. They were just making marks and then putting it together. So it was a book. And I said, wow, that's really cool. What are you going to do with them now? And she said, oh, that's it. We're done. And I said, oh, well, can I take everybody's book? Because I had brought a book of poetry with me by Charles Simic. And she asked if I could do this. So I did. I picked a poem for each person's book and I put a poem. And it was just amazing how the poems kind of fit in there and you found images that went with the writing. And then I just gave them back to people. It was really fun. But I love doing this with people. It's a little less scary when you're doing it with paper, but
so Cheryl, this doesn't look like the one that you were doing in San Francisco, because it had the place where you had
oh,
to
right.
sand a whole bunch to get
Right.
the red back, and it
Yes.
with like really big writing. And
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry. I
I mean,
can't.
this is really wonderful, but
Yeah. No, this is not
it's
it.
not what I remember.
No, I did this in the class here. Okay. Let me get back to that one. Um,
And it's really inspiring to see the various different books that you do. So it's good to see.
yay. Now I
Yeah,
just have to
this
remember
one.
what that one was called.
I'm trying to remember what your text was for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the Mary Oliver. It was the one
Right.
where it was in the temple.
Yeah.
Um
Okay, it might be over here. I might have to.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, that's okay. I just wish I had everything um together. Well, here's some photos of people.
Actually, yeah, that would be a show. Something.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Virginia with her whole skin, getting help from you trying to figure out how to cut it.
Right. Sorry, there's too many of those. This book came out great.
Yeah. That's Serby.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ian.
And he never actually wrote it. He didn't feel comfortable writing stuff out.
Oh, and Cassandra. Virginia again.
I think that one came out so great.
Oh, Vicky's book. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow, it's beautiful to see the after photos.
Mhm. Oh, and this was really great too.
That was Katie who did a fish, and the head of the fish is in the hole in the vellum.
Wow.
When she opens it up, you can see the whole fish.
There's Elena.
Elena.
The holes are just magical.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is my piece of vellum.
That was Serby with her whole piece. That's Cassandra's piece before it was cut.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there were some beautiful pieces in this class. God. I wish I'd taken that class.
Oh, this is the whole. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know where I put my book. I will have
Okay.
to do that some other time.
Okay. Well, this has been really, really cool to actually show Barry what he kind of asked about, which was
Right.
the process of doing it, which was so amazing.
I remember when I first learned this process and it was called accidental books, but it was done on paper. But when you do it on that vellum with the outside shapes, it's just amazing how
Yeah.
the structure of the book looks. It's really
Yeah.
fun.
What's really funny, when I've worked with Madison, my student who's really into vellum, she had worked with Pergamena quite a bit. And when she had her thesis show, she was not enchanted with all the edges at all. She would just cut it down. Like actually in her piece in the Roman holiday show was just a rectangular piece of vellum because she said it's all random anyway, because they just cut it off the frame. But it does have a natural shape. I mean, you can see the animal shape into it. So I'm still sort of in love with the wonkiness of the edges and stuff.
I love that. I think that's so cool.
And it's interesting in her studies now, she has learned so much. Meredith, do you remember when we went to special collections and she backlit some of the pages of the manuscripts and you could see the thin areas where the animal's hip bones were and sort of identifying what part of the vellum was used on what part of the book.
Yeah, that's so cool. And also the fact that the vellum allows you to see when you write on it, the show through of
Mhm.
what you've done.
Yeah.
So the first piece, that is the one that you did in Texas, that's the one that is at the San Francisco Public Library.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So that piece, for anyone who is in the San Francisco Bay Area, that piece is at the Harrison Collection in the Book Arts and Special Collections Department of the San Francisco Public Library, the main branch. And so any of you can go up there and look at that and check it out. It's best to contact the Book Arts and Special Collections Department about 24 hours at least ahead of time, just to let them know that you'd like to see it. But it is on view to the public.
The other thing that when Cheryl took her book there and gave it over to Andrea, um, I had gathered together half a dozen envelopes that Cheryl had addressed to me during membership things, beautiful envelopes. And so those are all now in the collection as well. So,
That was so fun.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And I like that piece that you showed in the slide, in the first slideshow, the piece with that was there was a lot of text in a dark gray with with one or two words in the center in a black calligraphy in a larger
Oh, right.
scale.
That
That
was
was
the Marilyn Robinson piece.
Marilyn Robinson. Okay.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Very pretty.
That ended up being about 22 different pieces, all from Writers Workshop people. And this doctor had put them all up in his U-shaped office building. So you could have the author and the piece of calligraphy with it. Then he retired, and I didn't see him for years. And a few years ago, well, it's more than a few years ago now, probably 6 years ago, I happened to be at a New Year's Eve party with this guy. And I said, Tony, what happened to all the Colby collection pieces? And he goes, I'm not sure. And he goes, I think they're in my basement. So we found them all. And then we brought them up, and we have a really nice bookstore here called Prairie Lights, I think named after city lights. And so we put them all up at Prairie Lights and had a show, many years after the original thing. But it was really fun to see them all again because they were all really, really different. That would make I have to shoot those all really well to make a PowerPoint of it sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to see that too. Maybe there's another Blackletter Brunch in the
Yeah,
making there.
that would be fun. Yeah, I'll work on that. Yeah, if I could actually, now they're all in my basement. And so I really should disframe them and actually take the photos because that was kind of in a time also. I think I have slides of most of them and I could probably convert that, but that's a good idea. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of my favorite pieces were those pieces.
Yeah. Did anyone else have any questions for Cheryl?
Cheryl, what's next in 2026 and 2027?
Well, in 2026, at the end of this month, I get to go to in Door County, northern Door County, to teach at this craft school called The Clearing. It was started by the guy who, I think, the father of landscape architecture. And he has built this beautiful campus in the woods in Door County. And a friend of mine used to go up there all the time. And she said they've never had a calligrapher before. So why don't you? Last year, I taught a 2-day class there. They sort of test you out. If they like you, then they'll have to come back and do 5 days. So at the end of this month, my partner and I are going to drive up, and I'll teach for 5 days, and he'll ride his bike and go kayaking, I guess. But that will be very fun. That's just going to be basic italic. So
And
that'll
that's
be fun.
be at the Clearing Center?
Yes.
The Clearing Center in Door County. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It doesn't really pay well. So I think by the time, we pay for gas to get all the way up there, I won't have made any money. But we get lodging for a whole week up there. So that'll be nice. And we get to stay at this cool, halfway between Iowa City and the Clearing. There's this little place called Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. And these two guys have purchased St. Michael's Catholic Church. They turned the church into a wedding venue and the rectory into a B&B. So we go and stay there, and we drive the rest of the way up. So sort of making a vacation out of it.
Fun. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Beautiful, beautiful presentation. I love it.
This was really fun.
So the next Blackletter Brunch will be on Sunday, August 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Julian Waters will talk about his mother, Sheila Waters, her process and her collaborations with designer bookbinders Roger Powell and Julian's father, Peter, in the 1950s and 1960s, plus a lot of Sheila's process in developing complex pieces. I hope you all will be able to join us for that one. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you all next month.
Raul,
Yeah, Barry.
I want to mention to everybody, I'm sure many people know about this superb book by Ross King, The Bookseller of Florence. If you don't know of it, you should. It's really like a who's who of 15th century Florence. Every calligrapher, illuminator, philosopher, etc., is in there. And Ross King is a brilliant writer. He's written about Michelangelo and many others, but I highly recommend this book.
The Bookseller of Florence by Ross King.
Difficult to put down. It's very dense and just absolutely packed to the rafters with information. Fascinating book.
Information about various manuscripts and
About manuscript production, about painting, what's going on all over Europe politically, philosophically. Just an absolutely fascinating encyclopedia of that century, really.
that sounds really interesting. I'll have to add that to my library.
Yes, you should. Everybody should.
Thanks for suggesting that, Barry.
Sure.
Cheryl, thank you so much. This was just great.
You're
It
welcome.
was fascinating.
Thanks, Cheryl. It was terrific.
Thanks, you
Good to
guys.
see you again.
Really good to see everybody too. I like that we can do this.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Really wonderful.
Okay. Thanks so much, and I will see you next month.
Okay.
Thank you, Cheryl, again. Bye-bye.
Welcome. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Stay cool,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Stay cool.